Welcome to a journey back to the 9th century, a time when England as we know it did not yet exist, and the threat of Viking conquest was existential. This is the story of the man who saved the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms from oblivion, Alfred the Great. Alfred, born around 849 AD, was the youngest son of King Æthelwulf of Wessex. He inherited the throne in 871, inheriting the throne during a period of relentless Danish incursions led by the Great Heathen Army. He is the only native-born English monarch ever to be given the epithet the Great. His achievements go far beyond military defense. Alfred established foundations for law, education, and national identity that persist to this day. Alfred's early years as king were characterized by constant warfare, engaging in 9 engagements in the year 871 alone. Viking tactics relied on speed and flexibility, which often prevailed against the slower-moving Anglo-Saxon militia, or Fyrd. The lowest point came in early 878. Viking leader Guthrum launched a sudden attack on Chippenham, a royal stronghold. Alfred was forced to flee with only a small band of men into the natural defenses of the Somerset marshes at Athelney. At this moment, Wessex was the only Anglo-Saxon kingdom still resisting total Viking conquest. In the 7th week after Easter, May 878, Alfred rallied the local militias, Fyrds, from Somerset, Wiltshire, and Hampshire at Egbert Stone. He then led his reorganized forces against the Danes. The ensuing engagement, the Battle of Edington, in May 878, resulted in a decisive victory for the West Saxons. Alfred pursued the defeated Vikings to their stronghold at Chippenham and besieged them, starving them to surrender. The surrender terms were monumental. 3 weeks after the battle, Guthrum agreed to convert to Christianity. Guthrum was baptized at Aller, with Alfred acting as his godfather/spiritual son. This event led to the initial terms, sometimes called the Treaty of Wedmore, which required Guthrum's army to leave Wessex and move to East Anglia. A subsequent agreement, the Treaty of Alfred and Guthrum, formally defined the boundary known as the Danelaw, dividing England into Anglo-Saxon territory and Viking-ruled territory. Alfred realized that reliance on battles alone was unsustainable. His victory bought time, but Viking speed remained a strategic flaw. Alfred's most brilliant innovation was the network of fortifications, the Burghal Hidage. This document details a system of 33 fortified towns, or burhs, strategically distributed across the kingdom, ensuring that every citizen was within a day's ride, about 20 miles, of a safe haven. This defensive structure was tied directly to a sophisticated financial and administrative system. Landowners were required to provide men, supplies, and maintenance for these burhs based on their landholding, measured in hides. The hide served as the basic unit for assessing military service, fortress work, and bridge repair, the common burdens known as trinoda necessitas. For example, the Great Burh at Wallingford was assessed at 2,400 hides, responsible for maintaining 9,900 feet of wall. This centralized planning linked military necessity alongside economic function. Furthermore, Alfred recognized the strategic importance of Viking control of the sea. He is recognized as the father of the English Navy. The Anglo-Saxon Chronicle records that Alfred personally directed the construction of a small fleet of purpose-built warships. These ships were revolutionary. They were designed to be twice the length of Viking longships, often having 60 oars or more. This was an attempt to intercept raiding fleets before they even landed. Having secured his kingdom physically, Alfred turned to internal cohesion through law. Around 893 AD, he compiled the legal code of Alfred the Great, known as the Dome Book. This monumental work standardized justice across Wessex. The code was a synthesis combining three older Saxon legal codes, those of Ethelbert of Kent, Ine of Wessex, and Offa of Mercia. Crucially, Alfred prefaced his code with a modified version of the Ten Commandments of Moses, incorporating Christian ethics. By grounding secular law in this divinely sanctioned moral framework, he emphasized the continuity between God's gift of law to Moses and his own rule. The Doom Book emphasized the concept of impartiality and equal justice, instructing judges and royal administrators doom very evenly. Do not doom one doom to the rich, another to the poor, nor doom one doom to your friend, another to your foe. The code also mandated that purchases in port occur in the presence of a royal administrator, or reeve, marking a move towards centralized government and regulated society. The complex administration required by the Burghal Hidage and the Doom Book necessitated an educational revival. Viking raids had devastated monasteries and caused a catastrophic decline in Latin literacy. Alfred lamented that learning had declined so thoroughly that very few men could translate Latin into English. Alfred believed that without Christian wisdom, the kingdom could neither prosper nor win in war. He established a court school to educate his own children and the children of the nobility and commoners in both English and Latin. He undertook an ambitious program to translate texts he deemed most necessary for all men to know from Latin into the vernacular Old English. Alfred personally translated 4 major works, including Gregory the Great's Pastoral Care and Boethius's Consolation of Philosophy. This established Old English as a viable literary language, exposing the Anglo-Saxons to complex classical ideas. Alfred's cultural patronage extended to history. He commissioned the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, a crucial historical record. Furthermore, the famed Alfred Jewel, inscribed, "Alfred ordered me to be made, I Alfred mech het gewirchen," is suggested to have been one of the estelles, or reading pointers, that Alfred sent to every bishopric along with copies of his Pastoral Care translation. Alfred died on October 26, 899, having suffered throughout his life from a painful illness, likely Crohn's disease. His own words from his translation of Boethius offer a summary of his ambition. "I desired to live worthily as long as I lived, and after my life to leave to them that should come after my memory in good works." His military strategy, law-giving, and education policies built the institutional framework that allowed his successors, including his son Edward the Elder, to conquer the lands of the Danelaw. It is for these achievements, saving his people from invasion, forging a strategic defense network, codifying law based on divine justice, and championing the spread of knowledge, that he remains the only native-born English monarch to be called Alfred the Great.
Leave a like and subscribe for more videos.